as HMI we call it factory talk. So first we're gonna open same rslinx. Make sure that our PLC over there is running correctly and it's connected to USB here. So first thing we open rslinx and then we will check. I don't see my USB already there, so what I do is I unplug my USB and then I plug it back, and my USB should pop up here. Should pop up. Okay, RSWho, refresh. PSP. Alright, so now we have my USB is there. I will check. I already have my controller, and those are my PLC cards. So already set. So we finished from this one. Now we need to open 5000 studio, and let's check if any student left any program inside. We're gonna say from upload, so we're gonna upload what's inside PLC, and then we're gonna choose my controller, and I'm gonna click upload. So now 5000 is gonna start, and it's gonna require me to save as a new program. Alright, so we need to select a file to save as a program. So I'm gonna go to desktop here and create a new folder. We're gonna call it testing HMI. I'm gonna go inside, and here I'm gonna call it testing HMI as well. So we cannot put space. Okay. Alright, we're gonna select that. So in the same time, when this one's loading, we're gonna create a new file. Okay, now it's gonna be uploaded, and we're gonna go online at the same time. Usually we need to have a program ready first to do the HMI for it, and hopefully we have program here done before. If we check the main routine, alright, so I have timers, I have some inputs, outputs, so I have program here. I'm gonna add some, I'm still online and in remote mode, so I'm gonna add some information. So I'm gonna add a rung at the end. Right, so I'm gonna add rung at the end here, and in the rung I'm gonna add some bits and coil. I'm gonna call this one testing HMI. Gonna call it start, and this one here we're gonna call it new, and we're gonna use it boil. So we're gonna say create. This one here we're gonna create as well. Testing. I'm gonna call it same thing. Testing HMI. Let's say call motor, and this is my motor is gonna start. And to make my motor latch, so I'm gonna add branch here, and I'm gonna add another contact for my motor. And since my motor start now, I need to turn it off, so I'm gonna add stop button here. I'm gonna call it the same thing, motor stop. So I have a new creates this new one stop, so I'm gonna create that, and here I have start, and my motor also instruction, it's new. So this is my motor testing, I'm gonna call it HMI. We're gonna leave it the same. So I'm gonna create a new one as well. So now I have new, so everything is set. And I have another invalid names tag, so it doesn't like all those tags, so we need to remove everything is not underscore. Probably we need to create a new tags. Let's check. Alright, this is new tags. Create another new tag. Create. So remember guys, Rockwell doesn't like space. Better to put underscore. So now I have everything set. So probably still in mistake. Let's see where's that. Alright, so now I have verification. Here we go. And this is my motor control ready. So now I know my program is ready. So I'm gonna move it to the other side. Now we're gonna go and start my Rockwell factory talk. Before we do that, we need to create communication. So I will create communication between rslinx and factory talk. So I'm gonna create a new topic here. And this new topic I'm gonna call new. There's a lot of topics before created by other students, so I'm gonna call it testing underscore as well HMI. And I'm gonna link it to my USB here and to my controller, and I'm gonna make sure link it again to my controller, and then I'm gonna say done. So now I have my new topic. It's already here. If I click it again, and it's gonna immediately go to my controller, so I'm gonna say done. So now I'm ready to open my factory talk View Studio. So we're gonna open that app. So now here I have many editions. So I have a View Machine Edition and View Site Edition local. So I prefer to use View Machine Edition, but today we're gonna use the Site Edition. We will check the difference between if we have time. So now as you can see, many students working here before, so I'm gonna create a new one, and also we're gonna call it the same name, testing underscore HMI, and we're gonna say create. And we're gonna let this one create. We're gonna take rslinx from here and move it aside, so we need it open over there as well. So I make it ready, and my program also is ready here. So all I need to do is waiting for my HMI to open. Again guys, so the HMI, it will factory talk is the server type program, so it takes a lot of time to load. And remember always to save your work because it's a server. Alright, so now we have all that add controller instruction faceplate, so I'm gonna say okay, add all of those. They are pre-made display in this version, so I'm gonna say okay for everything. And the system is gonna try to put all of that for us. And here we go, we check guys always that there's no mistake here. So I'm gonna try to lift up this one here, and then we will see that everything been added, there's no mistake. My server is on, is testing, is starting. I have a couple of error here. Some of them are not in this computer, so it's okay, I guess. So far, we will see if there's gonna give us any error later. We're gonna minimize this one again, and what we need to do now is like we need to add connection server. We need to right click on my testing HMI and add a new server, and then we're gonna add the OPC so we can link it to the rslinx. So, or we can do this one or OPC server. So let's try that OPC server, and then I'm gonna give it the same names that I did in my I'm gonna give it the same names that I did in my rslinx classic here. So I'm gonna call it testing HMI underscore HMI. So in here I'm gonna select browse, and I'm gonna select rslinx OPC server. So I'm gonna click OK. I'm gonna click apply. So enable to add data server testing an object of that name already exists. Please ensure a different name. So it doesn't like the same name, so we're gonna add one to it here, and we're gonna click apply. I'm gonna click OK. So this is my server. It's already been there. So all I need now is, guys, is to open the display page, and all those are display page. So I can open the main one, and I can start adding alright, guys, so now we have our HMI is ready, all of them here. So I click on display, right click, and then I'll create a new display, and this is my main display here. I can save it later. So now I need to add my push buttons that we create. So I click on push button here, and then I put my push button, and immediately the property of the momentary push button is open. Now this is general, usually the size and the speed of that button is in microseconds, so we leave that. We'll go to state. So I have two states, 0 and 1. So in my state 0 I want the color to be green, and my state 0 I want the color to be red, so I will put my color red. And you can write the caption. So here is, I'm gonna call it start, and when it's state other state, I'm gonna call it starting. So when you're holding it, so it's supposed to start. So I will repeat start, starting, and then I will go back to start. Now I need to make a connection to the PLC. Now this is the tricky part. So I click on tag, and in my PLC here I will have my testing is the name, and this is my servers that I create. Testing HMI is here, and all my tags. So I'll click refresh all folders. Sometimes it's gonna take time, sometimes quick. And this is the testing HMI that I created, and I will go back here, show you guys in DDE OPC topic. So the ones that I create here is testing HMI, and it's linked to my controller PLC. So here, if I click on that, I have offline tags and online tag. Of course, I will go to online ones that I create. I have all the IOs that are here, and somebody's timers that have been there. And I will click on my tags that I created in my program. As you can see, you cannot see it clearly, so you have to move that window a little bit so you can see the entire tag. You can open it as much as you want, and this way you can see all the description, everything. So we're looking for motor start, so we click on start, and here we go. I just link my motor start. I will click apply and OK, and that's it. So this is my motor start. Now I need to create another button for my motor stop. I will do the same thing, just click here, and I will click on my buttons, same thing. Now the color, I need state to be different. So when it's red, when it's 0, I need it to be a red. And here I'm gonna click stop. And when it's pressed, I'm gonna call it green. This is opposite, and I'm gonna call it stopping, and here we go. That's my description, you can see it here. And now we need to link it again to our PLC, so I click tag, and same thing, my program already memorized where I am, so I go to program and I will move the description and I click my HMI stop. Here we go, and I click my HMI, and here I will click apply. That's it. So now I have my button, everything. So now what I need to do is create, make it beautiful a little bit. So I will let decoration for you guys. So I have my start, I have my stop button. As you can see, my stop button is green, so I need to click it again, go to properties, click state, and make sure it's starting on state 0, and then I'll click apply, and here we go, start and stop buttons I have. Now I need to display my motor. I can go to the library here, global objects, I can add my motor. I will try to find any pre-design in global objects or in library. I can go to library here. I can search for my motor, if you can see it with me here. I have valve, transportations, tank, pumps. So okay, I can say pumps. So I can select my pumps. Let's say this is my pump here. I can click it or just drag it and put it here. And this is my pump, so I can close this one now. I don't need it anymore. So now in my pump here, I can double click this one, and you can go to properties and you can animate it as well. Or you can just right click, and then you can go to property panel, then properties, and then you can see all the settings for that one if you want to add pumps. What we're gonna do here, we're gonna leave the pump here as is, and we're not gonna use it. What I'm gonna use is, I'm gonna show you those things. I'm gonna click on multi-state indicator, and I'm gonna drag it here. And this one here has multi-state. Usually what we do is we can give it any shape we want. We're gonna give it circle shape, so I can apply it becomes circle. And I have 2 states, so on and off. So I will delete all the other states, so I don't need it. So I'll delete that state, and I'll delete that one as well. So I have my first state. I'm gonna put it as the same as my start button, so I will click on green. And my second state, I'm gonna call it pump off. And I'm gonna check my another one. I'm gonna call it red, and I'm gonna call it pump on. Again, guys, it depends on the colors that you use, depend on your standards. And I'm gonna click on green again. Now we need to link it to my motor tag, so I click same thing in my program, and I'm gonna go to my HMI motor, and I click OK. And here we go. Now I have my motor off, and its color is green, and I click OK on that one. Here we go. Now I have everything set, so my motor, my HMI is ready. I can use this motor icon if you want, or just create just simple indicator. And I'm gonna click now to go on run this application. So I'm gonna click sorry, first we didn't save it, so I'm gonna click save, and we're gonna call it the same name, testing HMI underscore. So I'm gonna click OK, and now I save it, and I'm gonna run my application. So here we go, it's gonna give me a name. Trying to find welcome to Factory Talks a Wizard. This will help me to run my application. So I'm gonna create a new one. Also I'm gonna call it testing HMI, and I'm gonna put it in my desktop here, so it can immediately find. Then I'm gonna click next. So it is local station. This is the type. And type the name of the application you want to connect to. So that's the name here is testing HMI, and I want it to be on like only in. Okay, so we're gonna click next. So initial display, our initial display, we call it testing as well, HMI, and we're not gonna worry about the other ones. We're gonna click next, next, and enable auto log out. So we're gonna for it to okay 10 minutes. Next, save configuration to okay. We're gonna say save and exit. Alright, so I think is we will check if we have any new icon. Alright, here we go. This is our icon on the so now we're gonna double click this one and let's see if it's gonna open our HMI, the page that we selected. In the meantime, I'm gonna prepare my program here. I have my start button, my stop buttons there ready, so I'm gonna click on the line outside. So here we go. We're waiting that to load. It's gonna take some time, and we will see that. We're gonna repeat that the last action that we did, where we create a client. So we're gonna launch clients, and it's the same thing now. Since he already does that, so we need to edit some settings in the client. So we're gonna click edit here. We select local station as usual, and we click next. And here, guys, before we select open factory as a view only, so when you select it as view only, it only displays a page without any functionality. So we need to remove that part, and then we click next. And we're gonna leave everything as is, the size, everything as is, and then we're gonna click next, and we're gonna click finish. And we're gonna minimize this one now, and we will see this one's gonna launch. So I bring my my program here, PLC 5000, still running. I'm waiting for my HMI page to start. And here we go, my HMI page is starting here, so I'm gonna minimize it a little bit. Okay, so this way we see both. So now I'm gonna click on my start button and hold, and then we're gonna see that so when I hold it, you can see it become red color and starting, and same time my pump is already become on. As you can see, my indicator is on my pump. And if you can see the program, I remove my hand from the button, but my pump still latches on. So this is motor control. So now I'm gonna click on stop and hold, so you can see the description. So it's stopping. I remove my finger, and as you can see, when I remove my finger, my motor is stopped. So if I click stop again, we can see in the program here, it's gonna disappear, and this is stopping. So let's repeat that. So I'm gonna click start one more time, and it was really fast, we didn't see it here, but I'm gonna click it again and hold it, so you can see that in the program it's gonna become green and my motor is start. So that's it, guys. So I'm gonna show you one more thing real quick. So I'm gonna close this one now, and I'm gonna show you one more thing, how we can put the timer. If I want to put this timer here in my display HMI. So here we go, I go back to my display, it's still open here, and I'm gonna put my indicator. So I have numeric display and I have numeric input, so I'm gonna put only the display. I don't want to input it, I'm gonna put display only. So I'm gonna click this one, and I'm gonna select my display, and here we go, this is my display. So I'm gonna go to communication, and this is my general, and I'm gonna click on my tag, and in my tag here I'm gonna try to select my timer. So in my timer, I have many options, same as in the PLC. I have ACC, DN, and EN. So I'm gonna choose a TT, or I'm gonna choose which one? I'm gonna choose a TT. It's gonna be 0 now because my program is not running. So I'm gonna put my accumulation one, and this is my accumulation. So I'm gonna use my accumulation to get display. So it's decimal, and we have 12 lengths. So I'm gonna click apply. I'm gonna click OK here, and this is my display here. So I'm gonna click test to test it, and show me nothing. And when I click test, it show me the same numbers that I have in my PLC here. So I'm gonna reopen my PLC. I have 64,000, and here we go. This is my display for a timer. That's it, guys, for the video today, and good luck in your homeworks.